been a year since the Battlefront Classic Collection was released. From Aspyr, the studio that brought us the Mac port of the original Battlefront. So, how did it turn out? Well, it was supposed to be the year of Battlefront, but it didn't even last a month. But what exactly went wrong? Even before the game launched, in an official showcase, they were caught red-handed using a PC mod as a stand-in for the official Xbox DLC. You could tell because Asajj Ventress was using the same lightsaber animations from the mod in some of the footage. After a smidge of controversy and an interview with Shaman getting published, Aspyr pinky promised it was just for testing out and debugging. But that's all the bad before the launch. The launch was much worse. On launch day, players were met with the misfortune of a 50 gigabyte installation size for games that shipped on 4 gigabyte DVDs back in 2004 and 5. On launch, 10,000 people on PC tried to play online. It didn't work. The servers were down, and when they were finally up, they were full and region locked, meaning Yanks couldn't wank with their bong landers on my Guido like they always wanted to. Aside from that, the game was actually quite broken. Most, if not all, map exploits from the original games found their way in the Classic Collection, along with some other visual bugs as well, like the Hailfire droid's wheels spinning the wrong direction in Battlefront 1. The clone gunship's physics break if you try and reverse, strafe, and roll at the same time. Ki-Adi-Mundi was still mute in Battlefront 2. Playing as Han Solo with automatic award pistols unlocked will leave him defenseless if you switch to the fusion cutter, meaning you cannot reselect Han Solo's blaster pistol. EAX base management has been enabled by default through emulation of some sort, leading to some very nice echoey sounds in interiors. But this also has the side effect of introducing audio screeches at random. But what we're here for is the new and improved bugs that Aspyr intentionally put in the game because they hate you. Or maybe it was just incompetence. Or they didn't care. Could be both. Or all three at the same time, really. The most obvious issue was how every single modeled surface in the game is now highly reflective due to overdone specular maps. The second is this pattern right here on the spawn screen. This is supposed to be a single-toned, dark, transparent UI overlay, but instead it's this strange warped pattern. The Renvar DLC maps in Battlefront 2 use their Battlefront 1 textures and lighting. The chain gun sounds are desynced. Every single model seems to have lost its vertex coloring. This is most apparent in areas that are supposed to be dark, in brightly lit maps. Kashyyyk's incorrect watercolor found in the PC version of Star Wars Battlefront 2 now plagues every single release of the Classic Collection, and it irritates me greatly. The font is weird. That's it. The font is just weird. Music, sound effects, and voice lines will sometimes play at incorrect pitches individually from each other. Bad normal maps. Broken HUD scaling. The new Hero Assault maps are missing ambient sounds. Listen here. The reticle hit indicators are misaligned. Broken shadows. The tread on the snail tank no longer animates properly. There are missing reflections on the PS4 and Nintendo Switch. Hero voice lines are loaded in as sound effects instead of audio streams, making them almost impossible to hear during gameplay. The PS5 has some interesting broken geometry bits. On Xbox Series S, the game would crash if two players entered the same vehicle. And a completely new bug that I discovered while making this video. Horizontal movement on vehicles becomes disabled after a match of bumper cars. As you can see in this footage, I can't steer left or right. I can only aim vertically. And while it's not a bug, every single texture in this game has been poorly upscaled with AI. And while using AI itself isn't bad for this kind of work, it just didn't turn out good in this scenario. It's clear to me that Aspyr basically put every single texture into the same folder and dropped it into their upscaler, which led to some textures like metal looking pretty good, but the clouds looking really sharp when they should be soft. The modding scene, however, was hit the hardest with the Classic Collection's release. Battlefront 1 had its entire code base updated to Lua 5 from 4, meaning old mod maps don't work on Battlefront 1 Classic Collection. Battlefront 2 had its all.level file split into all1.level and all2.level. This is because of a file size limitation for .level files. This split is between infantry and space combat. This means that all modded space maps for Galactic Civil War no longer function, as well as any custom land-based map that loads in starfighters, rebel pilots, and rebel marines. Custom Battlefront 2 maps also have broken localization along with broken music. The modding community has tried desperately to rectify these issues to some success. Fixing some bugs, however, would ruin online compatibility. The online functioned very well. There was a lot of player desync and packet loss, and sometimes you'd just drop from the server. But saying sometimes is a misnomer, because it was most of the time. And that's a shame, because it's had the chance to revive the online Battlefront scene, like the Halo MCC did. Sure, it would have always been smaller, like it was on the original Xbox, being second place behind Halo 2 in Xbox Live population. But it was the opportunity to breathe life into a gaming scene that's been on life support for the past few years. It would have been great. Oh, and one more thing. Remember the pre-launch drama I talked about earlier? About Aspyr using a PC mod for DLC characters? Well, as it turns out, they lied about just using it for testing, and accidentally released the game with that PC mod on Nintendo Switch, and accidentally added it in a later patch on PS4. And well, that's the worst of it out of the way. Now on to some more positive notes about the Classic Collection. Aspyr fixed Ki-Adi-Mundi's voice lines in the latest patch.
General Mundi reporting for duty. Victory is ours. My time is finished. May the Force be with you.
The Republic Fusion Cutter is no longer missing faces. They fixed the Death Star reinforcement bug. They worked on file optimizations, and now the game takes up roughly 30 gigabytes instead of the 50 to 60 it did at launch. They fixed landing path nodes, so now AI will land their starships on them. AI will now play as heroes. They even improved the multiplayer netcode a little bit. So there is some good that came out of all this. Though it's not superior to the original versions of the game that you can still buy on Steam. And in the last patch, they broke Mos Eisley's music, so I guess we just can't have anything nice anymore. Well, the Classic Collection died. It died before it even had a chance to walk. In a way, it's kinda sad. At least we have the original releases to enjoy still. Well, unless you're a Sony fan with the PlayStation 5, then the Classic Collection is your only way to play. Sucks to be you, I guess. Well, with that aside, I guess what I really wanted to say is that the original Battlefront and Battlefront 2 have both been remastered a few times by the community with mods. In fact, my personal favorite is the one that I made. It's called Stock Sides Plus. And it's getting an update pretty soon. You should like and subscribe so you can stay tuned to my channel for updates on that. Well, anyways, I'll see you later, whenever I upload a new video.